We're going to continue with our bookbinding series today. Today we're going to start from the very beginning, as in typesets. I'm going to show both how to find a typeset that is already made and how to create your own in Google Docs so that you do not have to pay for Word, because I know a lot of us do not have Word anymore because, like, Google Docs, why would you? Anyways, so I'll show you both how to find a typeset or make your own. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to bind a copy of A Court of Mist and Fury in Rhysand's point of view, which is a fan fiction on Archive of Our Own. So if you didn't want to make your own typeset, because it is a lot of work, what you're going to want to do is, there is a group on Facebook. It's the best group ever, I feel like. It's called Amateur Fanfic Binding, and you're going to become a member of this. Obviously, you want to read the rules and answer the questions appropriately. And then they have a tab of files, and you would just choose what you want. So I typed in Rhys in the search bar. We're going to wait until it comes up. This one has both of A Court of Thorns and Roses and Mist and Fury in Rhysand's point of view. So that would, like, ACOTAR only has like a few chapters with Rhysand in it, so that one is not very long. So if you were going to bind that one, I really would encourage you to bind it with ACOMAF, which actually, why don't we can do that as well. But as I'll show you what it looks like. Other people have very intricate typesets, and ours is going to be a little bit more basic, but it's still going to be beautiful. But this is the typeset, and you can just print it from this, and it has other people's work. And at the beginning, well, it's a little far in. At the beginning, you're going to be able to put who the typeset is from. So if you're making your own, right here, see, the typeset by Amy Headley or Healy. So if you're making your own, you're going to be able to take credit for your own work. Also, I'm sorry if you hear the 3D printer in the background. I cannot do anything about it. It is in the middle of a print, and it's probably going to be going for the whole video. And see, this is absolutely beautiful, and we can make our own. So we can include the pictures in our own book, or we can use overlays instead. I personally really like the overlay option. So to start off with, we are going to want to go to Google, obviously, and I am really bad at searching on archiveofourown.org myself, so I always use Google. So I look for A Court of Thorns and Roses, Illyrian Tremors, Rhys, POV. So here is A Court of Thorns and Roses, Rhys point of view. So it's she has it in different parts, so it's 7 parts. And we're going to open a blank document. I have mine set to come up as a statement paper size with margins of 0.7 on each. But right now I'm going to change it to letter. So yours will default come up as letter. I will show you how to fix it later on. So do not change your document size right now. Yours should automatically come up as letter size. And we're going to go part 1, a light in the dark. And we're going to go to download HTML. And it's going to bring up this page. Now we can start at the top, click, copy, go to our document, paste. So what I like to do is I like to wait until the very end, and then I will go in and I will edit my document. So for the sake of time, what I think I'm going to do is I will show you how to make a typeset using a Court of Thorns and Roses in Rhysand's point of view, since it is a shorter fan fiction and we can get through it quicker. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the already pre-made that we looked at earlier from the other lady that we downloaded off of Facebook. And then we'll go continue from there. But for right now, we're going to do our own A Court of Thorns and Roses typeset. So what I like to do is I like to wait until we've got all of the parts in Docs before I go in and I take out things that I don't want in it. So we don't need the HTML anymore. We do not need a light in the dark anymore. I'm going to move Docs to over here. I'm going to close out on Google. Okay, so now we need One of Us. Download HTML. And copy. I'm always going to Control Enter to start a new page before I put a new paste in. So Control Enter after that one. We do not need the HTML anymore. Piece of Me. HTML. Control C. Control V. Control Enter. We're going to continue with the rest of them in the exact same manner. Alright, so that should be the very last one. It is. So we've got 7 parts, so it'll be 7 chapters. Now what we need to do is scroll to the very top. And we're going to take out what we don't want. So I do not want by Illyrian trimmers on every chapter because I'm going to have it up in the heading. And then I do not want the summary. So this is the summary. Delete. And then we're going to scroll down. And I don't want the little XX at the end of the chapter. So we're going to do that with the next one. I'm going to get rid of the summary. Normally there might be notes and such at the bottom. And I would get rid of the notes as well. You just kind of have to read over your fanfiction as you're doing your typeset. Obviously, you don't have to read the whole thing, but at the beginning and end of each chapter, and especially at the very beginning of the entire thing, because in fanfiction they like to do summaries and author's notes at the beginning and end of each part. So alright. So see, this is only 32 big pages, which it's not going to be very long when we change our settings. So we're going to do Control A to select all. And here is where we're going to go to File, Page Setup. We're going to do Whole Document, apply to the whole document. We're going to change our paper size to Statement. And you're going to want to change your margins to 0.7. And what this does is it's going to give you a decent amount of border so that when you trim your edges, because if you do not have a paper trimmer or you do not take it to either the library or I think Staples and UPS and FedEx all do paper trimming, they can trim the edges of your text block for you. You're going to want to have enough room for them to cut off those deckled edges from where you've folded your signatures. So that's why we want to leave about 0.7 in a margin. And hit OK. And now we're going to leave it all selected. And then we're going to go to Align and Justify. This is where you're going to want to also choose your text. I know Garamond is a popular one because from what I have heard, now do not take me at face value for this because I don't know for sure, I've just heard it from someone else. Garamond uses the least amount of ink to print. I personally like Cambria, and Baskerville is another good one. But for right now, we're just going to do Garamond. No, we can use Baskerville. And then you're going to want to choose your font size. Don't worry that the title and everything is going to be a smaller size because we're going to use Canva, and I accidentally closed out of my Canva. We're going to use Canva and make our own. So you want to make your Canva design the same size as your pages, so you're going to want 5.5 by 8.5. This is where we're going to make our chapter title headings. So, oh, we do not want to get out of that. The next part of changing this is we're going to go to Format, Align and Indent, Indentation Options. Make sure left and right are either 0 or not touched. And then we're going to go to first line under Special Indent and put 0.3. And what that does is it is going to indent the beginning of each paragraph 0.3 for the entire document. So, now we need to make our chapter title heading things. So the first one is called the light in the dark. So we're going to want to make it, let's see, let's look for like a rose border. Kind of like we could do like this. Go to graphics. There's so many options that you can choose just about anything. It's just going to be what you like, because remember, this is your book. Canva has so many gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous options. That would be kind of cute. I think I'm going to stick with this one. And if you do not have a pro account, I would definitely suggest paying the $15 a month. Or if you are a teacher or know a teacher, you can get a free pro account with the education. There are so many options available in Canva. I use Canva to design absolutely everything in bookbinding. I wouldn't know what to do without it. So we're going to want to head it with the light in the dark. And we have our fonts. There are so many. I have uploaded Grand Central, which is, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering right, this is the ACOTAR font, or the font that is used for the ACOTAR series. Or we could do like a calligraphic style. That is very pretty. I think I might stick with that actually. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it just so that I know every chapter heading is going to be in the exact same spot. So we've got the light and the dark. We're going to scroll down to the second chapter, which is going to be One of Us. So we're going to change this to say One of Us. I'm going to duplicate it. Go down to Piece of Me. The Bargain. Trust Me. And you would be doing the same if it was just like chapter 1, chapter 2. You would just type in chapter 1, chapter 2, etc. The Third Trial. I should probably capitalize the Be Seeing You. And that is the last one. And I only know that because I remember from copy and pasting them. So what you're going to do is in Canva, you're going to download them PNG transparent background. That way you can see through it and it's not going to have a white background, and you'll see why in a minute. So download. It's going to bring up a zip file. You're going to want to extract it. I always make sure it's in order. And we're going to start with number 1. And I'm going to click and drag it into into our page. We're going to want to do behind text, and see, now you can see through it. And we're going to, for the title, we're going to want a fixed position on page. So that lets us bring it up to 0.0 by 0.0. And then click and drag it down. Now we have an issue. So our words are behind. So we're going to delete the title that's already there. And we're going to hit enter until our words are under. So what I didn't think about is how we need these margins to be able to be cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to size it down just a little to kind of fit around the words, if that makes sense. So when you cut off the edges, it's not going to cut into our little picture. So we've got the light and the dark. We're going to go down to one of us and drag it in. Behind text, fix position on page. Actually, the best way to do it would be to leave it the same size. So we're going to delete this title. And then I'm going to move it up to the top. So the Y is going to be at 0.0. And then so we're going to fix the first one just to make sure they look exactly the same. Wrong thing. To behind text. Move it up to the middle. And oh, we need fixed position on page. And then the Y 2.0. Now we can go back. So, chapter 3. Piece of me. Behind text. Fix position on page. Bring it to the middle, it'll bring the line up. And then we're going to bring it up to 0.0. Behind text, fix position on page, middle, I went too far, so we're going to have to undo. And trust me, the third trial. I am so sorry, that 3D printer is extremely annoying. I guess I should have waited to... You know what? I wouldn't have been able to just wait to record because my father has that 3D printer going 24/7. There's never nothing printing on it. Normally it's just not printing so fast and so loud. I just missed right here. That should have been Control Enter on its own. So be seeing you. Trying to grab it. Alright. So now we have most of it. We have most of our typeset. So the next thing we're going to want to do is do page numbers. Normally, now we're going to go to the beginning. Going to want to give us a couple pages at the beginning. Fix that. So we're going to want a title page. So at the beginning of a book, you have a blank page, a title page, and then on the back of the title page it says the information. Just because this is just ACOTAR, there isn't a whole lot of stats in this one, other than it is from Archive of Our Own, just the category and stuff. So because my fanfiction I usually do for myself, I don't normally put a lot of that information on there, but a lot of people do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of the things that other people like to put in their we're going to look at this. So some of the things other people like to put in their title page and information. Obviously no profit was made because this typeset was made to be shared with others. A nice thing to put is going to be the link to the actual fanfiction. You can make a little typeset by your name to add in there, and just the information. So she doesn't even have the information about it in there. So it's all just up to you. This is what this person has chosen to put in their typeset. You can put anything you want. A lot of people will copy this and paste this information. I don't normally do that. Oh, wrong thing. I don't normally do that. I will make a title page. So I'm going to go back to Canva, add a new page. I want all of this in the Grand Central. Actually, hold on, we're going to redo this. You'll see why. And then I like to do this. I don't like that one for that. And just like a something like that. And then we can make that bigger. And we can even kind of like stamp it. So I'm going to use this as my title page. I'm just going to put title page. And when I download this, transparent background, I'm only going to download current page. So I want it up. Oh, we'll fix it in a second. Should do behind text. Fits position on page. Kind of make it slightly smaller for margins. So the back of this would be blank, or you're going to put your typeset information on this page. So now what we need to do is we need our page numbers. So right here on this page, right before the blank page or the page with your information, right before where it's your first chapter, you're going to want to insert break, section break, next page. It'll add another page, but oh no, it won't. Okay. Sometimes it adds another page. So that creates a section break. So double click on footer for section 2 because this is section 1 because you put a break in. Unclick link to previous. You want to put it in the middle. Options page number. Footer show on first page. Start at 1. Apply. We don't want the numbers to be so much bigger than the words itself. And then we used Baskerville, so we want to change it to Baskerville. That is really tiny. I'm going to make it to 10 at least. Ooh, I don't know. That is tiny, tiny, isn't it? 11 works. And now for the heading, you want the heading to only be on these pages as well. So we're going to, wrong thing, double click on the heading. Going to put middle, do not link to previous. And this, I'm going to use capital Baskerville 9. And this is so I put A Court of Thorns and Roses, Rhysand's Point of View, Illyrian Tremors, and that should go on it goes on every page. Because the header makes it so close to our words, we're going to format our headers and footers. I would change them to 0.3, and it kind of moves it up. That way it's not right on top of your text. I don't know why it went to 0.5 because it normally starts at like 0.2. Either way. So now you've got your text block. Your typeset. So how do you make it so that this is going to turn into signatures and stuff? So we're going to close out of all the others. And we're going to go to, I will link this in the description below. This is like my favorite tool. It'll turn all of your typesets and make them all signatures. Name it first, then we're going to go to File, Download, PDF Document. Now we're going to go to Bookbinder, choose File, choose the PDF that you just made. We're going to leave this the same, so I like having both aggregated and per signature files. And what that is aggregated means the entire thing, and per signature is you can print each signature by itself. And I like to do that better because if your printer messes up, and it messes up one page when printing the entire thing, then when you print the rest, it's going to mess it all up. So it's just easier to do it by signature, so if something messes up, you can fix it easily. Your paper size, you're going to want to do letter because you are I always change it to inches, but that does not matter. But you are printing on regular letter sized paper. This is important. Printer type. Do you have a printer that prints on both the front and the back automatically? So does it have the capability to switch the paper around inside the printer to print on the back side? If you don't know, more than likely, no, it does not. So you want to choose either single-sided or duplex. And I'm going to do single-sided for now, just so that I can kind of show you how to print it out. You want to leave this alone. Standard signatures. I always move it to 8, and if it's a longer text block, I'll put it at 10. But 8 is a good one. And then I normally leave AdFly, leave the same. I preview the PDF, and what is important here, your numbers need to be odd on the right hand side. So if your numbers are not odd on the right hand side, then we've got to fix it. And that's just because your very first chapter needs to be on the right hand side for it to work, and that should be number 1. So we've got it right, odd on the right hand page. And now we're going to generate PDF output. So now you're going to extract all, and you have your typeset. So this is side 1 and this is side 2. I have found that I will bring up both side 1 and side 2 into my Acrobat reader thing, like my PDF viewer. And I have found printing side 2 first, then flipping it around and putting it back in, and then printing side 1 on the back of that works. And I think it's because it does it, like it prints it backwards so that the first page lands on top. Like the old printers used to, it would print starting from the first page, and then you'd have to switch all your pages around. But this doesn't. So because it prints with it wants the first page to land on top, I always print side 2, then flip it around and print side 1. So we're going to print this real quick. I'm going to do on my EcoTank 2800, and I'm going to do standard vivid on plain white paper. And I always want it to fit. If it's actual size, sometimes it kind of cuts off my margins just a little bit. So I always choose fit. I'm going to print. So right now, it has printed side 2. But we have to print side 1 on the back. So what I do is I flip the pages around the way they came out, and I put it back in my printer to print this side. Okay, so both sides are finished. We need to check it to make sure it's right. So this is our consecutive pages. Remember, we want to fold on the consecutive pages. So signature 1 starts at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So at the first half, you know the back half is going to be fine. So we put that aside and then print the rest of the signatures. So because this was just to show you how to do your typeset, I'm going to finish this video here, print the typeset that we're going to bind, now that you know how to make your own. So I'm going to print a typeset, and then we're going to bind that together. So come back for the next episode where we will sew all our signatures together, press them, and then design our cover.